Hi! Let's give it a minute for everyone to jump online. I am Lisa Concepcion. This is Lisa's Lowdown Live on Love. Live. Lisa's Lowdown Live on Love. And, well, tonight's episode, and I'm going to kind of give a little intro, so I'm going to give people a chance to come on the live, see what's up with me. I do these every Monday night. Wiping this real quick. I do this like every episode. It's hilarious. I always have to like get it together. See, crispy. Nice. So I'm doing a Lisa's Lowdown live, and I do this every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the reason why I do this is because I am a love coach. And what inspired me to become a love coach was a moment in my life where I hit the proverbial rock bottom, or as I call it, the bottom beneath bottom of pile of crap, and learned a bunch of stuff, healed myself from codependency, and just like completely changed and transformed my life. And so if I could do it, anybody can do it. But what I decided to do was take note of all of the different experiences that I went through, and one of which I'm going to share tonight. And you can see a bunch of others on my YouTube channel or my Facebook. And you can find me, Lisa Concepcion, on a Google search and find a bunch of stuff that I've been quoted in, and podcasts that I've been guests on, and, you know, different stuff out there, all about self-love, healing yourself from codependency, how you show up in relationships. My girl, Ivis, just starting, girlfriend. Happy to see you on the feed. I'm talking about tonight's episode, which is going to focus on guilt and forgiveness of yourself, which is so hard, and then forgiveness of other people. So, like, you know, when you can forgive yourself, it's often harder than forgiving others. You give people slack, right? You give people dog you out all the time, and you're like, no worries, it's okay, because you want to try to be the bigger person. But then when it comes down to your self-talk and your forgiveness, you're like way harder on yourself, right? So we all kind of do that. But I mean, I'll just like jump on into it. People could, you know, jump on the feed as they see it. And so what I am going to do is begin with a little tale of my own journey of self-forgiveness. And what happened was, behind me is Christmas tree. We're going to get into that in a minute. I'm taking you out on my terrace. See, I have a little Christmas vibe going on. I decorated with some lights. Show you background of Miami, south of 5th. It's beautiful out tonight on my terrace. There's a breeze going. Oh, it's beautiful. And so self-forgiveness. Okay, so here's what goes on with that. Basically, what happened was, I'm trying to see this light situation, was that, okay, for those of you who may have not seen my other videos and whatever, my story is one where I basically married my college sweetheart, and I cheated on him. So then it escalated into like revenge cheating from him on me, and it was just this cycle of dysfunction and awfulness. And so we both went into this place of guilt. I know I'll speak for myself. I can't really speak for him, but for me, I felt like I betrayed my best friend, that I wasn't worthy of, you know, earning money, I mean, this thing manifested itself in so many aspects of my life. It was just this lack of worth. I felt unworthy. And part of the reason why I cheated to begin with was a lack of connection with me, myself, inside, like the self-love and the understanding, like that I was the person who could soothe me and nobody else can soothe me and should soothe me better than I could myself. So it led to this horrible decision that, impacted the entire trajectory of my life, shifted with one decision. And it led to a lot of guilt and shame and just feeling awful about myself. And I kind of punished myself, and I decided that I wasn't allowed to have Christmas anymore. So if Christmas happened and I happened to just be around it, if I went home to visit my family for Christmas and it was oh, they had a tree and whatever, I would be very different than how I normally was for Christmas, right? So how I was normally for Christmas was something I was all in on the presents. I'd be shopping for people. I would be decorating and cooking and I was all into it. And to not have a tree would be you kidding me? And so after I separated from my now ex-husband and moved to Miami, I was just too sad. I just was I couldn't even, first of all, when I moved, it was 2010 and we weren't divorced. We moved separated, and I moved to Miami first and he moved to San Diego and then he came to Miami 6 months later. But in that time, Christmas happened and New Year's, and I was alone in Miami and I was in this one bedroom apartment. It was a complete change of my life, and I thought this is too sad. I don't want to have Christmas without my then husband. That was horrible. And the fact that he and I separated and we weren't really talking much, we weren't really connecting. He was off doing his thing, I was doing mine. It was absolutely horrible. And I was starting to creep into this really denial low point in my life where part of me was this is bullshit. The inner being of me was this is complete and total bullshit. You need some boundaries. You need to love yourself. I don't get why you're tolerating this. This is not self-loving at all. You said you were sorry. You went to therapy. You handled it. And now you're being left. And you need to, wish this all a blessing, love and light, and move on with your life. You get 6 months. We separate and we figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, we divorce. But that is not what I did. What I did was I took on this mindset that I was the one to push the snowball off the top of the mountain, which then tumbled down like an avalanche. And colossal mess of shit. All my doing. It was okay, when you have two little kids and they're fighting and they're well, you started it. So that's what I did. I said, well, I started it, so therefore you can be a complete dick to me for the rest of my life and I deserve it. Was my mindset. Inner being was no, sweetie, no, it doesn't work like that, no. You were making decisions based on what you knew at the time. Based on what you knew at the time. So there are no mistakes. So if you're watching this and you're beating yourself up that you made a mistake in a relationship and you're thinking oh, I'm such an asshole, I'm horrible, I'm this awful, awful person, and you're going down this path of guilt and you're feeling you're beating yourself up, know that there are no mistakes, right? You were simply making decisions based on what you knew at the time. The best decisions that you thought of making at the time, that was it. Whether they were good decisions or bad decisions, you were making the decisions you thought at the time were good. So here's what I'm thinking. People out there beat themselves up. You go through relationships and you do terrible things and you beat yourself up for it, and then you end the relationship, the person goes away, but you're still beating yourself up for it, right? So what do you do with that? Well, what I did was I continued to beat myself up, and I did it in the form of like self-sabotage, like things that I wasn't worthy of, things that I wasn't deserving of. My finances took a toll, my career took a toll, like it just trickled into all of aspects of my life. And if you don't get a handle on love of self and self-forgiveness, getting to a place where you can say, you know what, you made some decisions, they weren't good, but whatever, you're here now, you made those decisions. What are you going to do? Wallow in those decisions? Or are you going to say, okay, what did I learn from those decisions? What will I not do this time if put in the same situation? What will I do to not put myself in that situation again? So I see that we have Susan Chamorro on the thread, and I thank you, Susan, for watching and tuning in. And I ask you if you have a question, or are you just here to hate? Because if you are, you can just leave. But if you have a question, I would happily answer it for you. See, the people who tune in to this do so because they're looking for solutions to questions that they might have, or answers, or questions and things that they want to sort out. So if you're coming here with a question that other people can learn from, then that means you're contributing, and I welcome that. I think that's awesome, and then everybody could learn from that. But if you're here to be a hater, and I don't know where you came from, but I appreciate you tuning in, then I ask that either you contribute or you leave, because I have other people who are tuning in with love and light and have a great attitude. So, Evis, thank you so much for your support. You're an awesome, awesome client and friend. I learn from you every single time we get together. We have great conversations, so I'm excited to, hear where you're going. I'm hoping everything's going awesome for you as we approach the new year. So, back on to the conversation. So, what does this have to do with Christmas? And, why was Christmas such a thing? Well, what happened was, I just said, I'm not worthy of Christmas. Christmas was the time where my, let's say, my husband at the time found out that through a cell phone record, I was very sloppy in what I was doing because I wanted to get caught. I was crying, like a cry for help. It wasn't like I was, totally trying to, sabotage my marriage intentionally. I was just spiraling out of control. So I made it that I got caught because I was I didn't want this to continue. I wanted to be reined in. That said, it happened. It all came to a head I think it was Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. Disaster. Had my whole family coming to my house, and we're talking about what do we do? Do we break up? Are we going to therapy? What do we do? We're in the middle of this turmoil thing coming to a head, and I'm okay, but do we make a lasagna? What do we do for the family? It was a disaster, total mess. Oh my god, awful. So because I remember so vividly the hurt in my ex-husband's face, his whole energy, I remember it so vividly even still, that it was Christmas, and some wires got crossed in my head where I was I hurt my best friend on Christmas, and I don't deserve Christmas. And so for years and years, I didn't have a tree. I didn't, the only time I was allowed Christmas is if I went home and I was in New York and we walked around and I saw Christmas lights and things that way. But as far as my home and, my surroundings, immediate surroundings, I did nothing. And it's super emotional because I know that there are people out there, right? This Christmas going through where I was 2 years ago and 4 years ago and 6 years ago, where you feel super alone and you feel regret and you feel responsible. then like your whole world is a total upheaval and you feel like it's all on you, but it's not. Like you didn't mean it, and you were doing the best you knew for yourself at the time with what you knew at the time. So you have to forgive yourself, and this is the hardest thing. That's why you get the tears. That's why it's so emotional, because thank God, I don't know how it came. I coach people on this. A lot of it was meditation. A lot of it was giving myself the permission to feel this and just purge it and know where it comes from and just embrace it and be like, you know what? All is going to be well. I have faith in me. I believe in higher power rolling with me. Universe has my back, and all will be well. And I just had to believe that. And in 2015, I was sitting in this apartment on Christmas all alone, just me with my dog, and I 100% made a decision that night. And I looked around my apartment and I said, I am never alone. I am not alone. I roll with Source, God, whatever you want to call it, and my relationship with me, divine God source that lives in me, is the relationship that establishes the fact that I am never alone. Ever, never, ever. People can come, people can go. They have their journey, I have mine. We collide, we meet for a minute or 24 years or however long. And this goes for friends, colleagues, work people. People come in your life, they go out of your life. And if you let them in with love and you let them out with love, you cannot do anything but move forward with love from that place. So 2 years ago, I made that decision, and that was the turning point in my life. Like, I literally sat here and I said, this life as it is changes today. I am alone, as in not sharing Christmas with anybody on actual Christmas. And that is bullshit, because I am a good person with a good heart. I am worthy of happiness. I am worthy of joy. And I am responsible for my own joy. It is not in the hands of anybody else, ever. And so I invite you all to consider and really believe that your happiness is for you and only you to cultivate and nurture all the time. And you cannot put that in the hands of anybody else. My ex-husband chose to remain in touch with me and him with me, and we would hang out and we would do all the things together that like a married couple would, except we weren't married, we were separated, and it was vague and it was limbo, and I took it because I thought I deserved it. And worse, I had hope, legit hope, that we would reconcile and get back together. And between the guilt of what I did, I let him have all the power. All the power. Oh, if we get back together, that's for you to decide. If I'm worthy, that's for you to decide. Bullshit. Bullshit. And you know what? Best thing I came to was nobody decides my worth except God. God believes I'm worthy. God believes we're all worthy. And he put us here to have our best possible life. And it is up to us and our relationship with God, the source, whatever you want to call it, divine inner being. That relationship is what cultivates happiness. So now I love my people on my thread. I am loving a shout out to Nick Tiger Quay. Baby, Merry Christmas. It is time for getting things handled to ring in a happy holiday. So here's what goes on. That was 2015. Fast forward, right? I said, you know what? And done. I am done with this like bullshit of like rolling solo, all depressed and ridiculous on Christmas. So now that was 2015. I did the work. I went inward. I took the steps, and I documented all of this. So like now I help people, coach them, and like get them out of their funkiness too. And I healed and I emerged stronger and clearer. And from that place of, positive, feeling better and good in myself, I met Mr. S. Now, this man is like peaceful and chill and open and communicative. He's wonderful. We've created a lovely friendship. There's much love in our hearts for one another. And this year, so happy, we're, getting closer to Christmas. We just had Thanksgiving. And I think it was a week ago, Mr. S brings up Christmas tree. He was like, this year you're getting a tree. We are doing a tree. And I was kind of like, I felt like when you're 8 years old and you're on the high diving board and there's a line of kids behind you and they're like, come on, go, jump, like wimp, and you're just like, oh my God, if I walk off, I'm going to be made fun of. I have no choice. I have to just jump, right? So that's what it felt like when he mentioned the thing of Christmas and Christmas tree. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready. I am ready. I receive that. Yes, a man who loves me wants to buy me Christmas tree and decorate it with me and pick out the lights and the decorations, and as basic a tree as it is, with simple lights and simple decorations. Literally we just bought a box of ornaments and 4 packs of lights, handled this tree. It's beautiful. It's right here. I'm gonna flip it and you're gonna see it in a minute. And it just lit me up, because it showed me that when you forgive yourself and you believe that you're worthy and you declare this is how it's going to be, it's fact, and you're just all right, so that's cool. I just declared it. Boom. I'm ready to receive love. I am ready to receive kindness and nice gestures and romance in my life. And somebody who wants to be fully committed to me and thinks I am the shit, just the way I am. And they're not nitpicky over bullshit. They're just whatever, Lise, you got your thing, you're doing your business, you're helping people, all is good. So, this past weekend, first time ever, coolest experience, I got to shop for a Christmas tree in flip-flops. I posted a video on my personal page about this, and I promised that when the tree was all decorated, I would share it, and I figured what better time than the Facebook Live. Lisa's Lowdown Live. All right, so here we go. Oh, yay! There it is, my tree. It's shiny and sparkly. There's a star at the top. Super cute. We got our initials in ornaments. And it's just so nice. And now I can sit here and just look at my happy, nice tree. And it's just so cool. And I just wanted to really focus on the importance of forgiveness. So there's forgiveness of yourself, which is always hard. We talked about that. I talked about that briefly before. And my own ordeal with the forgiveness and the self-forgiveness and the guilt and all that. And how I, basically punished myself for almost a decade. And I'm kind of free now. And I'm just whatever, dude. The past is the past. Things happen. But the lessons that I learned, oh my God. And now, oh my God, it's just amazing. You look back and you're I did this. It was not a finer moment. I get why I did it. I healed it, and I will never do it again. Never. I don't need to, because I love myself too much. So I protect myself from drama that will impact my vibe. There's no need for any of that. I'm too old for that crap. Life's too short for bullshit, and I have no tolerance for any of it. So I'm just chilling. Happy life with me and the Tazer, looking at my lovely tree, chilling out, doing my Facebook Live. So I want to shout out some comments. People are super kind and cool for tuning in. We got Lisa Kenyon, who says, right on, nobody decides your worth, baby. Yes, exactly. Nobody decides your worth. And Nick Tiger Craig's all about that's what it's all about. It's true, right? Like you get into a receiving mode of kindness, and just there are good people out there, you know, and they want to love up on you. But if you're not aligned with it, you're missing them. You keep missing them. And self-punishment is not the answer. It is like a detriment to you. So I want to see everybody who catches the lowdown reveling in their worthiness, feeling prosperous, feeling ready to receive all the blessings that they're worthy of receiving. And I love how, you know, you guys are just awesome. I love, like, everybody on this feed. You guys are legit. I really appreciate every week. And, you know, I'm doing my Facebook Lives on my like page. And what's interesting about that is the people who like my personal page come over to the like page. So I'm trying to get more and more people to, like, come over. So if you like this video, you think the message is cool, totally share it with people. This way, you know, they can tune in Monday nights at 10 Eastern and ask their questions. They could drop me a line, shoot me a note, and it could end up becoming a topic on the lowdown. So here you go. This was a short, sweet little lowdown. Again, wishing everyone a happy and merry. And if you have anybody out there who's in, like, kind of bummer land because it's a holiday and, like, you went through a breakup, or you're, like, divorcing or whatever, you're just, like, out of sorts around the holidays and you just want to, like, unleash and chat, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Shoot me a note. We'll set up a session. It'll be awesome. You'll get some kind of peace, some kind of clarity. Sometimes it's just good to just talk things through. And you know what? You have the answers inside you. I know you do. And I come with the questions. I pull it right out of you. So, blessed holiday. Next week, new topic, 10 p.m. Eastern on Lisa's Lowdown Love Live on Facebook. And for those of you who are checking me out on YouTube, if you want to see this live when it airs, you can like Lisa's, let's see, it's Love Quest Coaching with Lisa Concepcion. That's the like page on Facebook. Just look up Love Quest Coaching. It'll pop up. You like the page, and then you can come hang out with me on Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is only for the lovers, baby. Haters, you're not going to last on this page. My Facebook Mafia is strong, and we're all about love. So we will flick you right to the curb. Happiness for everybody. Bye.